Hello, everybody. Hi, we're back. Um,
Welcome back to the podcast where Sav is always sick.
you you have you have a bad track record of being sick on the podcast,
I have a really shitty immune system, okay?
huh?
You know what's crazy? You know the crazy thing? This is the last year was the year that I didn't get as sick. And I still was sick so often.
I was just. Was it last year or was it 2 years ago where you had COVID on the podcast? I think that was 2 years ago, right?
No, I got it last year too.
Oh, was it last?
I think so.
Damn.
You know what? I don't know. You're I have like zero sense of time now.
Yeah,
Thank you,
no, me
COVID.
too. Yeah, shout out
I
COVID.
don't I don't know when things are. I don't know. I'm still 17, I think.
No, exactly. In my mind, I'm
Not
still like
turning 22 this year.
22. You mean 21?
No, 22.
What do you mean
Sam,
22?
Sam, it's time.
Oh no, wait, we
My
are turning
brain's
22. What the
Yes.
fuck? Oh.
Wait, that wasn't a bit. I thought you were just joking.
I was
No,
like,
we're
we're
turning
turning
22 this
21.
year.
I'm like, no, wait, no, we are turning
No,
22. Ew, what the hell? That's whack.
our brains are developing. They're are
Oh,
almost fully formed.
what the frick? Yeah, I guess we're 3 years, right? Damn.
Yeah.
Rip
Sorry.
Sab. No, it's okay. Um, don't apologize for being sick. Um, today is gonna be more of a chill.
Oops, oops, oops. Sorry. Green Day. Green Day. I just opened my phone and Instagram was open. It was Green Day. I'm sorry.
All I heard was just someone talking and then like, dude, and then it was just like happy music for a second. And I was like, what's happening? Um, today's gonna be more of a chill episode. One because Sab's sick, so
Hmm.
we're chilling out. I don't know if it's my allergies acting up. I have a little bit of a runny nose, but it is also like flu season, so you never know.
It's cold outside.
It is cold outside. I have a radiator in my room, and I usually keep my door closed because I can get very loud and annoying. So like
Hmm.
just to not annoy my roommates that much, I usually keep my door closed. But when I woke up this morning, which I also lock my door when I go to bed, I went to get a glass of water and I walked out into the house and I was like, oh my god, it's fucking freezing out here
Hmm.
because we only have like radiators in certain rooms and ACs in certain rooms. And so my
Yeah.
landlord is basically like, if you want to heat up the whole house, you have to leave the doors open. And I'm like, well, I hate leaving my door open, but I'll probably do it afterwards so the house can warm up a little bit because it was so cold. Um, but in today's episode, we're going to be reading over posts that people have posted to just kind of like YouTube and like Reddit and stuff of situations that they're looking for advice in. Um, and some of them are like more serious and more like depressing, I guess. Like, well, one of them is anyway because they kind of get into like mental health and stuff. But a lot of them are kind of tame. It was hard finding like silly ones. Like,
Yeah, I was scrolling through and I was like, wow, I don't,
yeah, I don't want
these
to.
are not fun.
Yeah, no, exactly. So some of them are like, it's kind of some of them have like the same vibes as like, am I the asshole? Because like some of them are
Yeah.
dealing with like asshole people. Um,
Yeah, but am I the asshole? Like that Reddit is so much more fun.
it is. Maybe we'll
Like
have to
there's
do another episode of
drama.
that because some of them are
We should.
so like just just strange on what's happening.
Yeah.
Um, the last one we have, though, which is one that I found from a video that I don't think Sab knows, unless she's seen it like outside of this. I haven't told Sab what it is.
I don't know
Um,
what it is, guys. I don't
and
know. It'll be a surprise.
and that one is whack as fuck, but like we'll get to it when we get to it. Um, the first one is called "I Feel Like I'm Piloting My Body," and it's labeled under like a vent. So someone's kind of venting her. Do you ever feel like you can sorry, just starting it with do you ever feel my mind was like a plastic bag
Oh
drifted
my
through.
god. This is serious,
I'm
Sam.
sorry.
You can't
Oh,
joke about this stuff,
my
man.
ADHD is kicking into high gear. Um, do you ever feel like you can feel the outsides of your limbs and there's just a void on the inside? and you can't really feel the outsides well either. Do you ever feel like you're just piloting a body and looking through its eyes like windows? It's as if my body is a puppet and I'm just the one controlling it. I feel like this every minute of every day. It doesn't feel like my body, it just feels like a body I'm in charge of. Sometimes I look in the mirror and feel like I don't even recognize my own face and that it's not mine. And one of the this is from a day ago. This is like very
A day ago?
recent.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't even check. So
Um
I picked this one because I feel like there hasn't been enough conversation about this. Like people talk about like kind of what it is, but like no one ever like is like, yeah, like I go through this too or whatever. So
mhm.
this is basically called dissociation,
Mhm.
right? And it happens a lot if you have like mental health issues like depression, anxiety, and I'm sure other many others, right?
Mhm.
It's one of those things where it your body kind of goes into autopilot, right? Like that's what they were talking about.
Yeah.
And it's like you're kind of your mind is kind of removed from what's happening even though you're like present, but you don't feel present.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like it's been happening. It happens to me a lot.
Mhm.
Like I go through this where I get super stressed out and then I just like kind of zone out
Yeah.
pretty much. I'm just doing everything but I'm zoned out.
Yeah.
You know, and like the only thing that really snaps me out is if I'm trying to have a conversation and I'll have a conversation.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
No,
But even
exactly.
then it's like for like a brief moment and then I'm back.
Yeah. No, I get what you mean. I deal with it too. It's very, I don't know. It's very like on and off with me sometimes. If there's a lot going on in my life and I'm stressed about like work and school and like other things, I find like I do like dissociate a lot more. Like I'll kind of fall into it a lot easier than like normal.
Hmm.
Sometimes it'll happen for like if someone like says something or does something that triggers something in me, I'll go into it. Like I find sometimes there's been times where like someone will ask me like a question about something like personal that kind of messed with me like in the past or something, like a situation that I had to go through, and they'll bring it up again and that'll
Hmm.
cause me to dissociate. um I've even had like people like point it out to me before, because I
Yeah.
remember um in high school I had to deal with this like really shitty situation that involved like the police and everything. And um my mom, who knew about it, well, my whole family knew about it, but my mom, who knew about it like a couple months later, like something was brought up about that and she asked me a question, and she said that she pointed like I don't remember dissociating, but she was like she called out to me and was like, you there, like what's going on? And I was like, what? And she said that like she asked me the question, and then I kind of just had a very like looking into the distance but not looking at something kind of
Yeah.
glance.
Yeah.
And I just kind of was like, I was there but I wasn't responding to anything.
Yeah.
um and so I find it's the, oh my god, my computer just made a loud ass noise. Look back at your memories. Thank you, OneDrive. That was the perfect time to show that to me.
That's kind of fucked.
Like what? That's crazy. Um so like I find sometimes for me the when it's the worst, it's either when like something's happening or someone says something that triggers like a bad memory. And then
Yeah.
I guess in that situation it's more of a like a what's it called? Like my body going into like flight or fight mode there, cuz they're like, "Oh, we're bringing up this situation that we don't like, so we're just going to fucking pretend we're not here," I guess. I don't know. Dissociation is
Cloak
a
of
crazy thing.
invisibility.
Yeah, no, exactly. I cast invisibility.
If I don't move, you can't see me. That's how it works.
Exactly. What I can't see can't hurt me. um, but yeah, no, dissociation is a bitch to deal with because, and that's the thing, like I don't have experience dealing with it on like a constant basis. It's very on and off for me.
Hmm.
Um, but I can like I've had days that were just really bad days where I dissociated for most of the day, and that's kind of like the longest period it's been for me. It's like maybe about a day or so. And those days are fucking weird. Like
Yeah.
it's a weird sensation to be like present but also not.
It's kind of like you're dreaming,
Exactly.
right? But
It
like not like a full on like deep dream. It's like you're it's like you're just right at the edge.
mhm.
You know, like you're just about there. It's there's like a barrier between you and like what's happening around you.
Yeah,
Your
no, exactly.
consciousness and what's happening.
Yeah. And it's and that's the thing, like I like the last time that happened to me, it was weird because like it almost cuz I think I just got too caught up. Like I get too caught up in like what I'm thinking and like cuz I don't talk to myself out loud, but like I talk to myself like in my head, whatever.
I'll talk to
Um
myself out loud. Fuck that.
I mean, I do it too, but in this situation, I was at work, so I was like, if I
Yeah.
say what I'm thinking out loud, I'm gonna get like fired. Um, but it's weird because I notice sometimes in like situations where I dissociate, like my body's on autopilot mode, but like I'm like thinking, but I'm thinking so much and overthinking so much that like that's when I become like unaware of what's going on around me because I'm just so caught up in like what's processing in my mind that like physically it's like autopilot. I'm just kind of like I need to do my job. I need to talk to customers. I need to go grab
Yeah.
this and blah blah blah. But in my mind, I'm like I'm not there. I'm not present.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so someone commented saying sounds like detachment slash dissociation. I recommend you talk to a psychologist,
Real.
which is all you can really do.
Yeah.
Um, and it kind of sucks because, like, for example, in Canada, it's not only difficult to find a doctor, but also, like, speaking to a psychologist. Like, I know a lot of people say, like, oh, talk to a psychologist. But if you don't have the money to afford one, it's a lot difficult to do that.
Yeah.
Because, like,
Therapy is fucking expensive.
mm-hmm.
I talked to a psychiatrist, uh, was it last year? I don't know. Again, years are kind of iffy now.
Yeah.
Um, but dude, the wait list alone is enough to like crush people.
Yeah.
I was on that wait list for over a year
Yeah.
to see a friggin' psychiatrist.
Psychiatrist,
And
yeah.
even then, nothing came of it.
Yeah.
No, like I got a diagnosis, great. I can't afford therapy.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Like, and now I can't even afford medication because I don't have insurance. Like,
Yeah.
it's kind of real fucked.
Mm-hmm. No, exactly. And like that's the thing, like growing up, like in Canada anyway, it's like I'm glad that we have a healthcare system, but then
Yeah.
growing up and realizing how flawed it is, especially
Mhm.
now after COVID, but
Yeah.
also like we are living in times where like you can't afford food, you can't afford housing, you can't afford anything. But
Mhm.
then the government decides that like someone who's 21 can afford insurance. Like what?
That's
Like
funny.
are you kidding me? Like no, I the only reason why I have insurance is because I work for a corporate company that offers like insurance for part-time workers.
That's so lucky, dude.
It is. I'm very like lucky that I have that, but even then like it's for part-time it's not bad. But it's still like I feel like any job should have that option, especially in times like these
Yeah.
and also in times when young adults our age like 21 and stuff are not in their family's plan anymore and they need something
Yeah.
else, you know? So,
But it's also a thing like that's probably never gonna happen.
oh
And you know,
yeah.
because it's gonna cost them money
Mhm.
and they hate the freaking companies hate spending money, especially when it's on their own employees.
No, exactly.
Like,
I think the only reason why my company does it is so they can avoid their workers unionizing.
you know what? Fair.
Yeah. So, which is fucking stupid because unions are great. If you have a union, you should be a part of your union. Personally, anyways, what I think. But yeah. So and that's the thing, like, so telling someone like, oh, go speak to a therapist, it's like, yeah, that's what you should do, because people who are not trained in this subject matter can't really help you.
Yeah.
But it's also very hard to do when you don't have the funds to do it,
Yeah.
because like, even like we spoke about this because we both have similar diagnoses. And mine wasn't a cut in stone diagnosis, but the only treatment is therapy. And it's like, well, how am I supposed to do that? Because I can't afford therapy. So what do
Yeah.
you want from me? Um, and I guess, like, I don't know if you shares like a similar experience to this, but I even like just getting the diagnosis does make a difference. Because I know some people are like, the label doesn't matter to me. Like, I just want to be like, get help and get fixed, whatever, which is fair.
Hmm.
But even like having a name to put to why I feel the things I feel does help a bit. Because I'm like, okay, so like, it isn't just me. Like, it's not just I'm like a bad person or something. I just have a lot of like chemical imbalances in my brain.
Hmm.
Um, so I think when I got diagnosed, it was like, oh, okay, so that's why I do these things, blah blah blah. Um, so that helps, but it doesn't. It's not a solution. Like,
For me, it was like, it was more like, great, I have a name. Okay, well, I can't do fuck all about it, so now I'm pissed again.
yeah,
So it didn't like, it helped a little, I guess, but in the grand scheme of things, I'm like, I'm still fucked.
yeah. I'm still
I'm
in.
still fucked. Like,
Yeah,
there's
it's
no
still in
way I'm
square
gonna be able
one.
to afford. You know what's crazy, actually? Recently, so I contacted this place where they have kind of like a sliding scale for therapy, like
Mm-hmm.
payment wise. So I was trying to inquire about it, and it was still like $100 a session, like an hour,
Yeah.
right? And I was like, I asked if there was like any possibility to go any lower,
Mm-hmm.
because minimum wage worker, part-time worker, even with the hours that I get, like, it's not enough, right?
Yeah.
And they just didn't respond.
Oh my god, really?
They haven't responded since I followed up with that question.
That's insane.
So I'm like, okay, then.
Yeah.
All
Fuck you
right.
too, I guess.
You could have just said no, and I
Yeah.
would have been like, all right, I can't afford it yet.
Yeah. No,
But
exactly.
I not even respond.
Bond. Yeah.
It's been a week.
That's crazy. Because it's
Yeah.
like, it's one thing to, like, have the decency to respond to someone. It's another thing to be like, oh, I can't get business from this person. I'm just not going to answer them back. Like, what?
Yeah.
Especially in
Yeah.
terms of like therapy. Like, be fucking for real. Um, no, and that's the thing. Like, my like view on the pricing of therapy is, I feel like, is so skewed, because the first therapist that I went to a couple years ago, um she was specialized in like specific things, so she costed more than like a regular therapy, so she per session was $240, and
Mhm.
I only went to her 3 times because that's as much as I could afford, and that's as much coverage as I got under my mom's healthcare plan.
Yeah.
um and so, like, other therapists I've been looking at, because I've been getting, like, I think it's because I've been talking about it so much, like, I've been getting like clinics in like Toronto and stuff, and like, I think those clinics I've seen they're like 150, 175, and in my mind I'm like, oh, that's less than the other one. But then also, realistically, that's still so expensive.
Yeah.
Like, if you have to go to an appointment every 2 weeks, you're dropping like almost $350 in a month on therapy.
Yeah.
And I keep getting, I thought I saved it, but I keep getting this advertisement for this like therapy thing that is like $35 a session, but I think it's an online thing, and those are kind of like,
Iffy.
yeah, very hit or miss. Because there's one, I forget the name.
BetterHelp.
Yeah, where everyone, like, a lot of people will get like, what's it called, like promos through it, and like a lot of like like content creators like
Don't they have
will.
like lawsuits and shit?
I think they do, because I've heard stories of people who went to BetterHelp and either the service they got from the therapist were like horrible and just not like up to par.
Hmm.
Or I heard one story of a girl whose therapist showed up to her work, and they were only meeting strictly online. Like, it's not an in-person thing.
That's
BetterHelp
weird.
is online, and the therapist showed up to her work and was trying to talk to her, and she was like, what the fuck, like, what?
Hmm.
This is not what you are supposed to be doing. Like, so if they have lawsuits going on, I would not be surprised.
Anyways,
So
you're welcome for
yeah.
the
You have, or you are dealing with dissociation, and
There you go.
you should probably talk to
you
a
just
psychologist.
you just got us saying, yeah, same, buddy.
Yeah, no,
That's
basically we didn't give advice, we're just like, yeah, us too. Okay.
hold up.
The next one is called "My Grandma Gave All of the Grandchildren $1,000 for Christmas except me. Should I be upset?" Hey everyone,
Ooh.
as the title says, yeah, ooh, family drama. As the title says, my grandma gave my sister and my other two cousins $1,000 for Christmas. My mom called me the day after Christmas and asked if my grandma gave me anything. I said no, and my mom went furious. It's personally not bothering me because I live out of state, and I'm more well off than any of my siblings and cousins, and I haven't really talked to this particular grandma in the past 2 years because her favoritism started showing. My grandmother has a lot of wealth, and my whole family kisses her ass so that they can get money from her, but I'm not that kind of person. She also didn't get my son anything for Christmas and got my sister and cousin's kids presents. My mom said I should be mad and confront her about it, but honestly, it doesn't really bother me that much, seeing as I haven't talked to my grandma in about a year. Is what my grandma did shitty? Should I be upset? Lastly, should I actually confront her about it?
Yes, it's shitty.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, you know what? If you're unbothered, stay that way. I promise you, it's the best thing for you.
No, exactly. Anything related to family drama and being
Hmm.
upset at a family member, if
Hmm.
you are unbothered by it, you are in the best place to be.
Yeah.
Because, oh, I think we've both had our fair share of like family drama and just being like, I
Oh
don't
yeah.
want to fucking be a part of this. Are you kidding me? Like,
Yeah.
ah.
Yeah.
So, um, yeah, and that's the thing. The first comment that the first comment on this post said, "Keep your peace of mind and don't get involved in drama, particularly if you don't need the money." But yes, showing favoritism is shitty,
Hmm.
which I think is kind of sums up our advice in this as well, because favoritism, yeah, favoritism is fucking shitty, and
Yeah.
as us being both daughters in a larger family, we've definitely seen it here and there.
Yeah.
And it's shitty because usually if you notice it and then you call it out, you are,
Gaslit.
yeah, gaslit and pinned as the person, as like the bad guy, to be like, oh, like, what's your deal? Like, why, like, there's no favoritism, you're just being over dramatic, you know?
Hmm.
And so, like, dealing with favoritism it's shitty, because it's like, what am I doing that doesn't warrant the same reaction to what they're doing?
Yeah.
Like, how come they're getting all this stuff, but I'm not? Like, what? And so it makes you dislike the person who is being favorited, because you're like, why? What am I doing that's not meeting the standards that they're doing? But then it
Yeah.
also, at least as a kid, when you don't completely understand it, you kind of just fight to try and get the same reaction,
Yeah.
because it's like, as a kid you're like, well, why is this person getting this and I'm doing the same thing and I'm getting met with a different reaction? Like, you don't comprehend it. And so immediately it's just kind of, at least in my situation, it's like, oh, like what am I doing wrong? Like how do I fix this? Um,
Yeah.
which is
I don't know if
shit.
it's like if they know, like if they don't notice, that's still kind of fucked up. But
Hmm.
if they do notice, that's like beyond messed.
No, exactly. Like
Like,
if
they're consciously doing this. Like
yeah,
they got beef with the children for some reason.
reason, yeah. No, and that's like if it's one thing if they don't realize that they're favoriting a kid, and I can understand to a degree, like
To an extent, right? Yeah.
yeah, to an extent of like especially how parents might react a little defensively to that, because it's like in your mind you love your kids equally, but subconsciously you're favoriting one of them. I can see how parents might be like, "What do you mean? Like no, like what, you know?" But like
Yeah.
also if a kid says that to you, like you shouldn't just brush it off. That also doesn't
Yeah.
help the case either. You should maybe like take a step back and try and
Analyze, right? Like
analyze, yeah.
look at what's been happening.
Yeah, like what am I doing that's making my own kid say that they don't think I like being around them and prefer the other one, right?
Yeah.
Which a lot of parents don't do. Because they're like, I'm your parent, like you listen to me, and it's like, how about we just take a step back and look at the bigger picture here, guys? Like,
Yeah.
sure, you might have raised me, but like, let's how about if something you're doing is bothering me, let's look into it rather than dismiss it, maybe. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
But parents who do it purposefully to pin the kids against each other, pretty sure that's abuse. You know, like emotional abuse, mental abuse.
Pretty messed up.
Because you are purposefully messing with the kids mentally to get a reaction out of them,
Yeah.
which is fucked up. Um, but in this situation, like mm, I have dealt with family members who earn more than others, and the expectation that they have that you will do anything for them no matter how they treat you,
Mm-hmm.
I fucking hate. Even just people in day-to-day lives. Like there's so many people out there who make so much money and they expect to be treated with respect because of it.
That's so stupid.
Yeah, like no, if you're going to be a cunt, I'm not going to treat you with respect. If you're going to be a dick, I'm going to treat you the same way. I don't care how
Yeah.
much money you have.
Look, I read somewhere uh that money is the most unloyal friend you'll ever have
Mhm.
because you'll have it one day and you can just as easily lose it
Yeah.
in the blink of an eye.
Yeah.
Like shit can happen. You can have everything
Mhm.
and then you'll have nothing.
No, exactly.
So basing your worth on literal currency is kind of fucking stupid.
No,
And you're
exactly.
stupid. Like
Exactly.
base your worth on how you react and interact with the world.
Mhm.
That's how you base your worth.
Yeah. No, exactly. And that's the thing. Like I'm a pessimistic person, so this is probably not the greatest take, but like I don't think there's necessarily anyone who's good. I
Hmm.
think people can do good things and people
Yeah.
can have good outlooks and they can treat the people and the like space around them with a lot of care, and
Hmm.
overall majority of the time they do good. I think there's bad people. I think I can name a few from just our history books that I would consider extremely bad people.
Hmm.
I don't think there's anyone necessarily good,
I don't think
but
there's like an inherent good, an
yeah,
inherent evil, right? It
you
there's a
learn
lot
it.
that's it's learned. There's a lot that's based in your environment and how you
Hmm.
grew up, but also how you kind of deal with those things,
Yeah,
right? And those things and how you react kind of set you on a path,
exactly.
right? And it's kind of up to you to decide. Obviously there's stuff that's out of control, right? Like
Hmm.
there's mental health issues, whatever, right? Like, but the vast majority, like there's kind of like a there's like a moral kind of like a moral compass that kind of everyone agrees on,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then we get into stuff like religion and whatnot, and how people use religion as like a thing to make you like, if you're religious, you're inherently good. That's the
Yeah.
consensus.
Yeah.
But time and time and again, that has been proven incorrect,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, just because you do something that is kind of viewed as good doesn't make you good,
Yeah.
right? It's the things that you do.
No, exactly. It's the
But
things
even
that you
then, like,
do.
everyone has it in them to be a shitty fucking person.
Yeah. No,
And there
exactly.
have been times in everyone's life, I'm sure, where you've kind of done something shitty
Mm-hmm.
or said something shitty.
And I think if you don't think you have, then you need to check again
Yeah.
because everyone has done something shitty.
But
Um.
it's also about perspective, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, something that might not seem super shitty to you could affect someone else in a
Mm-hmm.
totally different way.
No, exactly. And that's the thing. Like, I know a lot of people who were like, well, not a lot of people, but I've known a couple people in my life who will do like either like not necessarily shitty, but just kind of like disruptive things, and then be like, "Well, I'm never going to see these people around me again, so why should I care?" And it's like, "Well, that's
Yeah,
not the point."
I never got that mentality.
No,
I
no,
never understood.
neither have I. Like, sure, call me a people pleaser, but like, I'm not going to cause a scene and make others around me uncomfortable just because I'm
Just
not
for
going
a
to see them
reaction,
again.
yeah, or
Yeah.
just like not whatever. Like, it's not. I I know a lot of people like that,
Mm-hmm.
and I've started in the last couple years really distancing myself from people like that.
Yeah.
And you'll notice that your circle gets small.
Small. Yeah.
My circle has never been smaller.
Yeah.
It's kind of, there's so many things that people do that kind of, that it just doesn't make sense. Like why would you try to rile someone up, random person
Mm-hmm.
especially, just to get what, for shits and giggles?
No, exactly.
That's it. Like you want to make someone's day worse so you can have a laugh.
Yeah.
That's fucked.
And it's yeah, no, it's people like that it's like there's no reason. Like if someone came up to you and just kept bugging you to the point that you flipped out because because they were fucking getting on your nerves and making you feel like shit, and they just laughed, like there's no reason to do that. And
Yeah.
I hate when people do that, especially to try and make them seem bigger than the other person, or try to like give themselves an ego boost because they're like, oh, like I made this person feel bad. I have the power to do that. It's like,
Mhm.
I don't know, get hit by a car, maybe. You know? Like, there's no reason to be doing that. And like when I was younger and like in my teens, whatever, I was like very judgmental, not openly, but there was a lot of judgment that I would kind of like, not, I was gonna say dish around. I don't, if I'm judging someone, I don't openly like, I was never that person to be like, oh, your clothes look weird, like like I wasn't raised like that.
Mhm.
But I was surrounded by a lot of people who, when not face to face with people, would make comments about people. Like if they weren't
Yeah.
face to face with them, they would have a lot to say about that person. And as
Mhm.
I've gotten older, I was like, I don't really like that, because like, is what they're doing harming me or other people in any way? No. Why do I care then? Um and I think that's kind of a mentality that a lot of people should start like like using, because like commenting on the way someone does their makeup and being like, "Well, I don't like it." It's like, "Well, they didn't do it for you.
Yeah.
Why do you think you can comment on it? Is it harming you in any way? Like, are you like physically hurting or emotionally pained by seeing this makeup? No. Then keep it to
Mhm.
yourself. I don't know. Like, um and so like, I don't know. I think there's learned good and learned bad, obviously, but I
Yeah.
think if you pick up on the kind of shitty habits that you have towards people, recognize them and don't change them, that makes you a bad person.
Yeah.
Because if you know that you treat people like shit and decide that you don't want to change that, then I would consider you a bad person.
Yeah.
But then you also kind of, when you get into that, you kind of start going into the whole like narcissists and shit who think they can't do anything wrong, and then it's like a whole thing. But
Yeah, it's not like a one size fits all kind of thing, right? Like
mm-hmm.
there's so many different circumstances and there's so many different things out there that you can't just apply one
Yeah,
statement to it all.
yeah, it's not an umbrella solution. There's so many
Yeah.
gray areas that you have to take into account.
Yeah.
um but getting back onto the topic of this person's advice post, yes, I think your grandma's a shitty person. I think
Hmm.
what she did is shitty.
Yep.
If you are unbothered by it because you are financially well off and don't need this money from your grandma, don't bother her for it, because you're gonna throw a hissy fit, and then she's gonna get pissy, and then all the people who kiss her ass will get pissy because she's pissy, and it'll cause a whole fucking thing. So if you don't care less that you didn't get anything from your grandma, leave the hornet's nest alone, girl.
It's a good thing. It's a good thing
Yeah.
because like, you know what? You're in a place where you're kind of healed, right? Like you
Mm-hmm.
saw that favoritism, you were like, fuck this, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna do my thing and I'm gonna do it good,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And now that you don't care, that's a good thing.
No,
That is a
exactly.
good thing. And no, you don't have to be upset. Your mom can be upset
Mm-hmm.
if she wants. You know,
Yeah.
that's up to her. But if you're fine, you're good, you're chilling, leave it like that.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, I can understand how it could hurt the mom from her perspective, in the sense of like being like, I raised all these kids and now my mom is picking and choosing who gets what. Like, no,
Yeah.
they are my kids. Like, treat them all how I believe they should be treated, you know? Because a mom, a
Yeah.
good mom, would look out for her kids in that way. Um,
Yeah.
but
If
if you,
anything, she has more of a right, like more of a reason to be upset.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
exactly. Because it's like, these are my kids and you are picking and choosing who gets what. Like, no,
Yeah.
either pick them all or pick none of them. Like, at
Yeah.
least that's how I would do it if I was the mom. um no, but seriously, like, embrace the freedom you have of being unbothered by your family's pettiness.
Mhm.
Because that is the greatest freedom that you can have when it comes to dramatic family members.
Absolutely.
Okay, the next one is it okay if my 20 female partner jokingly asks if I cheated on her? My partner and I, 21M, have been dating for 8 months now. From the start, she would jokingly ask or imply if I cheated on her with someone else, or slip it in a conversation like, maybe this is one of your ex's favorite, or could be one of your girls. I pay no mind to it, and on the first few months of dating, because I would reassure her I don't have anyone else, but as the time went on, I kind of feel like it has become a habit for her and somehow insults me. Today I asked, what's 2023 minus 2009, just to keep the conversation going, and she asked if this is my new girl or something. I lost it and got angry with what she said because I literally spoke to her a few days ago, and I dissociated from my friends, so I have nobody to talk to with except her. I think he means like he distanced
Yeah.
himself from his friends, so he's not okay. Also indicating I'm 18. I'm 18 below. What? Okay, wait. I lost it and got angry with what she said because I literally spoke to her a few days ago. I distanced from my friends, so I have nobody to talk with except for her. Also indicating I'm 18 below lover, to which I'm not. I don't know what that means. Am I going insane, or is her behavior unacceptable? I do want to keep the relationship going, but even I have been going through tough times to the point of like distancing from her.
I there's a few things here, right? So one, I've been seeing an increase in like videos of like girlfriends saying shit like this,
Mm-hmm.
like being like, like joking about how they always say shit like this,
Yeah.
whenever their boyfriend asks something, and I'm like, the more I see it, the more I'm like, that's kind of weird,
Yeah.
right? Because there's a few things that could be happening. One, you're insecure,
Mm-hmm.
right? You're super insecure and you don't trust your partner, right?
Yeah.
Two, you're cheating and you're projecting.
Yeah.
And you're kind of like, again, insecure about what's happening here. So now you're like, are you cheating? Because I'm cheating on you, and like, I don't want you to cheat on me,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like, I don't, I think, especially if your partner has kind of been like, hey, like, I'm not a huge fan of this.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I feel like that's something you should stop.
No, exactly. No, and I was gonna say, like, I like, as someone who has a lot of trust issues with people, I can understand being weary, especially when cheating is just so like popular.
Normalized now.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
so
Like, yeah.
normalized within our age group, and I fucking hate it because I'm like, cheating
Me
on
too.
someone is a fucked up thing to do. Like,
Hmm.
I've like seen and heard guys talk about how like, oh well, if she's the one, then like just go be with her. Like, who cares about your girlfriend? Like, and I'm like, what? No, don't do
That's fucking
that. That's
weird.
fucking weird and gross, and no. So I can understand like having trust issues, especially with our age group, because of how like normalized cheating is. But then
Oh, I
also
agree.
like, if he has told her like, hey, like you making these jokes makes me uncomfortable, then she shouldn't be making them. If he
Yeah.
hasn't said anything to her, then I think him getting angry at her was unwarranted because he hasn't spoken to her about how he feels about them.
Hmm.
Um, I think now would be a good time to tell her that they make you uncomfortable, especially since they kind of got in an argument, it seems, and he got angry at her.
Yeah.
If you haven't spoken about it yet, speak about it now. But if he has told her like, hey, you joking about like me having like another person or talking about my exes makes you uncomfortable, and she continues it, then he has all the reason to be upset.
Yeah.
Um, and I never thought about it possibly being like her projecting like her own like her cheating herself onto him. I never
Right.
thought about it being like that, but no, it could also be that too.
Yeah. It's because, like, I've seen this happen a few times
Mhm.
where, you'll see, like, someone who's, like, constant, like, either, like, super, like, controlling and super, like, protective almost, and
Mhm.
just constantly being like, yeah, but, like, okay, so are you seeing someone? Like, are you whatever,
Yeah.
right? But it turns out later on you find out that they were the ones who were actually cheating,
Yeah.
because they were doing the thing that they don't want you to do, right?
Yeah.
Because they know it's wrong.
Mhm.
No one, like, everyone knows it's wrong, and everyone knows it's going to hurt someone. There's not a person in the world who doesn't know that,
Yeah.
right? But people still continue to do that. So
Yeah.
because they want to kind of control you and keep you,
Mhm.
right? You're just their, like, favorite. You're not the only one, you're just their somewhat favorite
Favorite. Yeah.
because they keep you around,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like, I was scrolling through the comments, and like someone said, like, I'd be afraid that she's cheating because her
Yeah.
protection comes in the form of jokes, and I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
Someone else said that it could be abandoning behavior, where it's she expects you to leave and will probably leave you
Yeah.
first.
True.
Which I
Yeah,
didn't
that's
even
an
think about that too, but yeah, because like, and that's the thing. Like, abandoning behavior can also be like the cause of her. She's dealt with this before, and so it's a trauma response of trying to protect herself before she can get hurt, kind of deal.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, and so sometimes I've even done this myself of like, you almost project it onto a person so that when they do it, whether or not they actually do, I say when as in like, they just get so sick of you doing this that they do it anyway. You have already kind of prepared yourself, not because they
Yeah.
were planning on doing that in the first place, but because you've almost just made them do it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's the right way to word it, because if someone cheats on you after you kind of be like, oh, like, are you going to cheat on me? Are you going to cheat on me? Like, just because someone makes jokes about it doesn't mean you should actually go and do it.
Oh, yeah.
um, but it's almost like your mind being like, well, I knew this was going to happen, so I protected myself from it. And it's a weird thing of like protecting yourself and like trying to not get hurt, but then hurting other people, and trauma's fucking weird. But it could be a lot of things. I think if he's spoken to her about this before, like, he's not in the wrong. I think if he's made it clear that her making these jokes makes him uncomfortable and she still does it, then I think her behavior is like unacceptable. Because that's kind of messed up. If the person that you are romantically seeing has been like, hey, you saying these things kind of makes me uncomfortable, and you keep doing them, that's not very cool. If he hasn't said anything to her and she like makes these jokes and isn't aware that they make him uncomfortable, then I think they need to have a conversation about it. But I think, and this is the thing, like, I think all you can really do is talk to her, because you don't want to go in and be like, well, someone told me that you could be projecting that you're cheating on me, so are you cheating on, because like that's just gonna cause more issues. Yeah,
more bullshit.
And also, if you go like continue the relationship with that mindset, then you're gonna be like on edge all the time, because now you're thinking that she's cheating on you, and it's so, and that's kind of where you have to trust your partner, because like, sure, they could be a shitty person, they could lie to you, but if they are a good person and a good partner, they wouldn't be cheating on you, and they would tell you.
Everything is conversations. You have to have conversations. Like, when people say communication is key, like, that sounds cliche, but it's true.
It's true.
Like, you have to sit down, you have to talk, and you have to find a way to talk that isn't attacking each other, whether it's with words or whatever.
Yeah, no, exactly. And for a lot of people, it's easier said than done, because like I know for me, like, even now, sometimes I struggle with like talking to people, at least face to face, about things that are bothering me, because like, it's hard to change bad habits, right? But it is very true.
It's the way we grew up, because like I'm also the same. I'm the same way, right? Like, I find it so difficult to bring up issues, because it gets met with the same energy, like, like every single time. And like, the way I grew up is, it's always going to be a fight.
Yeah,
so like,
same way.
Unlearning that and being in situations where you feel super frustrated, and like, you haven't learned how to communicate, or like put things out into words, is so incredibly frustrating. Because again, like, my partner, right? Like, I've told you about this, right? Like, every single time I go there, even if there's like an issue, they talk it out.
Yeah.
Like, they talk to each other, and I've never experienced that.
Yeah.
It's always been yelling and attacking, and nothing ever gets done, and you never get heard. No one gets heard.
No, exactly. That's why, if you're thinking of having kids, think on your personality and think, do I need therapy? And if you do need therapy, don't have kids just yet.
Yeah, do the work.
Do the work first. Now, last one is going to be a freaking 360 in terms of the mood of the last couple ones. And I'm going to give a quick little NSFW warning. So if you don't want to hear this kind of stuff, well, thank you for listening to the podcast, and we'll see you in the next episode. Because this is going to be the last one we do. Okay, so I'm currently house sitting for my parents while they're away on holiday for a week. On the first night, after a few glasses of wine, I got under the bed to plug my phone charger into the wall and found a very pretty shoebox.
Uh-oh.
Imagine my shock as I opened it and found my mother's very large and realistic battery-powered boyfriend.
Huh?
Just wait, it'll make a little bit more sense in a second. Hindsight is great, and I know that I should have left it there, but unfortunately, my curiosity would get the better of me.
Oh, no.
Being alone and horny, and also quite impressed by the XL veiny monster in my hands, I gave it a wash, turned it on, and slipped it in.
Oh my god.
So to not go into too much detail,
Oh, like that wasn't a lot of detail.
Like that
right
was
there.
yeah. All I'll say is the beast was amazing. It hit all the right spots.
Oh my
Upon
God.
closer inspection, the
Uh-oh.
only markings were a faint name on the base embossed in the plastic. It read Clona Willy. Turns out
Oh my God.
Turns out I've been getting the best orgasms of my life from a replica of my father's penis. How am I meant to proceed from here?
Kill yourself. I would end it right there.
Oh, because me too. Because, so I.
Oh my God.
I found this one because a coworker of mine, this was from someone read this on another podcast, and I was like, I need to read this on our podcast somehow because holy fuck. my coworker showed me the video of them reacting to this, and like everyone was like, what the fuck? Because you had so many opportunities to turn back. You had so many opportunities to not do what you were doing. Like, you mean to tell me that you found that, took it out of its box, cleaned it, and within that time period not thought once, this is kind of really fucking weird?
How do you... Okay. You're house sitting for your parents.
Mm-hmm.
You go to plug in the charger. You find a sex toy that does not belong to you.
Yeah.
You decide to clean it and use it. Your parents' sex toy.
Yeah. And then, surprise, it was
In
a
your
clone of your
mind-
dad's.
In your mind, you know what? You deserve it. You
No.
know what?
Oh, 100%.
You deserve that. Actually, you deserve that. I hope this fucks you up forever, because you were there. This is not your house.
Yeah.
This is not your place. This is your parents, and you made the decision in your brain. You're like, yes, I'm going to clean this, which will absolve all of the sins that are on it. even if you found out that it wasn't a Clona Willy of
Yeah.
your father's dick,
Which is a whole other
that's
issue.
That's still like so. I want to tell your parents. Where are your parents?
No, exactly. Your parents
Let me
know.
contact them. This is fucked up.
No, because a normal person, okay, I'll, like, before, this is going to sound bad at the beginning, like, I'm a curious motherfucker, but if I opened went underneath my parents' bed and found a box, and I would probably look and see what's in the box, but if I saw what it was,
burn my
I
eyes.
would close the box, put it away, and pretend I never fucking saw it. Like,
Burn my eyes.
yeah.
I'd leave.
Like,
I would leave.
That's where the curiosity ends, motherfucker.
Yes.
Like, like, and so, like, even, like, no, like, like, you don't use those are not things that should be, like, used secondhand, dude. Only if it's yours. Only if it's yours. Because that is whack. Like, and sure, they said that they were drunk, but even drunk me wouldn't do something like that.
Yes.
Like,
That is.
like, what? So, like, and, like, the way that they're, like, being alone and horny, like, that made it okay.
That doesn't justify anything.
Go back to, like, the 1800s, girl. We've been, like...
You're an icky person. You need a chastity belt.
Not the chastity belt, but you were so right. Like, horny jail.
Yeah.
But, like, actually, like, go to jail. Because there's...
But
something-
actually go to jail. That is.
Oh, God. As soon as I heard that one, like, every second, I'm like, how is it getting worse? Like, you've hit the
This has
jackpot
to be
of...
bait.
I
This
hope
has
it
to be
is.
bait.
I hope it is. If it's not bait, I'm concerned. I hope it's
I'm
bait.
horrified.
Because, like, what?
Whore.
Bonk, you're a whore. Bonk, go to horny jail. You freak.
No, but like, I just want to know. Like, I want to know what the thought process here was. I don't care if you're drunk or whatever.
Yeah.
What's the thought process? Hey, I'm in my parents' house and I found a sex toy in my parents' room.
Yeah.
My parents' property.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm gonna use it.
No, exactly. Like, that's fucking whack. That is whack as hell. Like, no. Don't, maybe. I don't know. Keep your grimy hands to yourself. Like, what? Like, sure. Your parents can do...
Ruined. Day's fucking ruined, and I already have a pretty tough day ahead of me.
I'm sorry, Sam.
Fucked up.
Like,
too early for the shit.
It is 11:49 a.m. We're talking about someone who used her mom's fucking dildo, which so happens to be a clone of her dad's dick. Like, what? No. And that's the thing. How am I meant to proceed from here? I don't know. Like, kill yourself? That's like...
How am I... Did they ask how am I meant to proceed from here?
Yeah, they asked how am I meant to proceed from here. You don't.
Never contact your parents ever again.
Go missing. Like, move to the...
Go missing. Disappear. Go
Yeah,
off the grid.
Go off the grid. That's the best you can do. Move to, like, the fucking Alps and grow a sheep farm and never talk to your family again.
I don't have any piece of advice. Like, anything... I can't.
No
way.
There's no.
How do you help this person?
I don't think therapy.
I would never mentally recover from that.
Also, it is wild that they like. Well, first of all, I would never do this. But if in some weird fucked up universe I did, you could never pay me any amount of money to fucking talk about this.
Nothing. No amount of money.
What? That is crazy. The only person I think that they could get advice from is, like, motherfuckers in Alabama. Like, they...
They won't give you advice, Sam.
Actually, no, they would tell you that what you did is okay.
That's fine.
Holy
it's okay.
Fuck.
We do it with the real thing.
Yeah. Upgrade it.
Oh. I hate this. This is so bad.
Oh. So, yeah. When I was watching the video of the guys talking about this, like, my jaw was to the floor for every second of this fucking video. I'll have to send you the guys' reactions to this because it is just so funny. But yeah, no, I have no advice for you because you have dug yourself a grave and you might as well lay in it. I don't know what to tell you.
There's nothing else to do.
Yeah, there's nothing else to do. Burn the house,
burn everything in it.
Yeah, no, exactly.
I don't know.
Like, good luck, I guess.
I don't know how to help you, bud.
No, exactly. You are on your own. Like,
yeah.
There's no helping this dude. So,
yeah.
I just really wanted to see your reaction to this because it is so absurd. Like I said, hopefully it's bait. I hope it's not real, but you never know. There's some really weird ass people in this world.
Literally had me flabbergasted this Saturday morning.
What a great way to start your Saturday morning. It's cold, it's chilly outside. Let's absolutely flabbergast you with this person's dumb decision making.
Then I have to go to work. I'm gonna be thinking about this all day.
No, because I was the same way. All day I was like, in the back of my mind, I was like, why would you do that? Like, what?
Yeah.
Like, why would you do that? You shouldn't have done that. But on that note, thank you everybody for tuning into this episode of the podcast.
That's fucked.
I had to make this episode fit the comedy genre that we advertise of being in some way or form. We can be serious.
Fair enough.
And I like the serious podcast. Like, sometimes just kind of chatting about life is nice, but we had to make it funny in some way. But yeah, thank you all so much for tuning into this episode of the podcast, and we will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.